Hello, my name is William Bowen, and this is my final presentation for INFA 532 for the spring 2013 semester. I'm going to be talking about malware on smartphones and mobile devices. So why smartphones and mobile devices? Well, the old style of thinking would tell you that malware is only for PCs, specifically those with Windows operating systems. People normally would write malware and viruses for Windows machines to expose security vulnerabilities in the operating system and the built-in browser Internet Explorer. Historically, Mac OS for Apple and Linux distros have been more secure and not targeted nearly as much. Well, that's not true anymore. As smartphones and mobile devices become more prevalent, people are beginning to write malware to expose vulnerabilities in the operating systems on these devices. Now think about going to work, going to a coffee shop, just going anywhere out in public. Everybody has their smartphones out. Everybody is using their smartphones. And tablets are becoming much more prevalent as well. They are actually beginning to replace the standard desktop PC or laptop as a primary device. So people are beginning to target these for malware attacks. Now when we talk about smartphones and mobile devices, there are 4 primary operating systems out there today. These 4 definitely have the biggest market share. You have the Android operating system, which is open source by Google. You have the Apple iOS, which is of course made by Apple. You have BlackBerry, which is made by Research in Motion. Then of course we have Microsoft's Windows Mobile. Now in terms of malware, Android, actually this was from an article from last month, accounts for 79% of all malware infections on smartphones. So that is a very high number, a very high share of all the malware infections. So I guess we can joke and call Android the Windows of mobile OSs, just because of how much it is targeted and the levels of malware infection it carries. And interestingly enough, Symbian, which is Nokia's old smartphone platform, still accounts for 19% of all malware infections on smartphones. So I found that kind of humorous and interesting. So how is malware acquired on these devices? Well, the primary reason is through apps that are acquired through third-party sources. So of course, all of these operating systems have a primary app store or place that you can buy apps, where the apps are scanned and inspected by each respective provider. So, of course, Google has the Google Play Store, Apple has the App Store, and so on and so forth. The apps on those stores are, pretty carefully monitored, and before they go out for the public to purchase and acquire. But there has been some criticisms about Google Play being a little less stringent with apps that go on its store as opposed to Apple with the Apple App Store. So, but there are third-party app stores, third-party sources that supply apps for these devices, and they are not nearly as scanned or reviewed to be safe for use. So a lot of malware is acquired through these third-party sources. I found an interesting article that said about Facebook and Twitter and other social networks. If you're using those networks on the devices, malware can be acquired through those very easily as well. Facebook is a big target for malware. People send you messages with links in them. People tell you, hey, look at this picture of your friend from the other night. He made an idiot of himself. Or, oh my God, I can't believe this girl did this. And people click on them, and then it leads to text messages being sent, or pay-per-click schemes being set up. So those are actually very vulnerable on mobile devices. Leaving your phone unsecured can also be a problem. This is if you don't have a password on your phone on the lock screen. Apple allows you to set up a numeric code. Android does the numeric code or the pattern. If you don't leave your phones secured, anybody can get on your phone and download these apps, download this malware, pretty much do anything with your phone. All of the information on there can be exposed. Any banking passwords, anything of that nature, any personal data. So this is also how malware is acquired, how security is breached, and just plain not being careful. I know that at times I get random text messages with links in them. You're surfing the web on your mobile browser. You come up on some pretty shady things, some pretty questionable things. People just aren't careful when they're using their devices, and this also leads to the acquisition of malware. So now I want to go over some examples of this malware just to show you exactly what these people are doing. The first one is probably one of the most comprehensive ones. This is the Genemi Trojan on Android devices. And basically what this Trojan does is it's attached to some actually established apps from the App Store, the Google Play Store for Android. This is mainly targeted on Android devices in China, but it is actually attached to some established apps and also some of the games. One example from the website that I researched this on was the Monkey Jump 2 game, and it's actually attached to over 30 apps. So basically, it attaches itself to the app, and then it redistributes itself via the app to many different users. So basically, what this virus does is once they download the game or the app, the whole phone gets taken over. Text messages, contacts, GPS information can be sent to a remote server, and then they can take over your phone, do whatever they'd like to do. They can download files, they can place phone calls, they can send text messages. I mean, it just comprehensively allows the person to take over your phone with total control. So this one's very comprehensive. They get access to any data on your phone, so any saved passwords, any banking information can all be exposed. And then one of the big things with all of this malware, a couple of the big ones that we're going to talk about, is sending these SMS messages. They send these premium SMS messages that charge you 50 cents a message, $1 a message, and they automate the sending of them, so they can send hundreds a day, and then you don't know until you get your bill that you sent $2,000 worth of these messages, and the people who's put the malware on your device are actually cashing in on this premium SMS charge. So this one's very comprehensive. It can actually bind itself to some legitimate applications, and it's kind of scary how it works. So thought that one was a good one to start with because it's very comprehensive and kind of puts things into perspective of how vulnerable it can make your information. Here's some other ones that I found through my research. The SMS Android Trojan is actually prevalent on Russian Android devices. You download a movie player app, and then this is actually hidden inside of the app. It actually starts sending text messages to a premium rate number, as I explained before. So this one actually charges a several dollar charge for each message. So like I said, you don't know until you get your bill that you've been sending these premium messages, and then the people who distributed the malware are cashing in. I thought 3D Anti-Terrorist was kind of interesting. This was a game called 3D Anti-Terrorist, posted all around the internet on download sites. This one actually attacked Windows mobile devices, which is why I listed it. I kind of wanted to show each major operating system having a piece of malware. But much like the Russian SMS Trojan, this one actually made premium rate international calls. So it would jack up your phone bill in that manner, making a bunch of international phone calls, charging long distance rates, among other collect rates. So that one definitely rang up some phone bills for some Windows mobile users. TapSnake. I think everybody has played the Snake game. This is a variation of that. It was supposed to be the Snake game, but it would actually track your GPS coordinates and upload them to a server. And then it would download an app in the background called GPS Spy, which would steal additional data from your phone. So it would actually take GPS data from your phone throughout the day. You're taking pictures, GPS data is attached to that, sending texts, making calls, basically monitoring your GPS activity through a background app that was downloaded via the Snake game. Then we have the iKey Warm. This one's kind of silly, but this one actually hit iOS users. This was in Australia. iOS users who jailbreak their phone to load third-party apps, non-approved App Store apps, would get this worm, and it would actually change their wallpaper to a image of Rick Astley. So it was kind of like a Rickroll iPhone background, and it would then go out and search for other compromised phones via contact list. So if you had anybody else on your contact list who had a jailbreak device, it would then send this stuff out to those phones automatically and infect them with the Rickrolled wallpaper. So I just thought that one was kind of silly, kind of funny, but just shows how it can make a jailbreak phone vulnerable and make it very difficult to bring it back from that state. The Eurograbber malware is actually one targeted on banking information on smartphones. So it would actually go in and take advantage of the two-factor authentication that many banks utilize. So you log into a banking website and it sends a text message to your smartphone saying, input this code, and then you input the code and then you can log into the website. Well, this Eurograbber malware would actually take that authentication code sent via the two-factor authentication, and it could get in and get your banking information, and it actually caused quite a stir over in Europe, and it actually got more than 30 million pounds worth of dollars in fees off of people. So very widespread, caused a lot of heartache for a lot of people in Europe. And then there's another iOS malware, which I found very interesting. This is the burglar malware. It would download malware to your iOS device from an app, and it would take pictures randomly throughout your house. So you're using your phone, texting, talking on the phone. It would take pictures of your house, and then it would attach the GPS coordinates to them and send them to a server. And then the people who were sending out this malware would actually have an entire plot of your home. So they'd have all the rooms of your home, pictures, attached GPS coordinates, and then they would know the layout of your house. And if you weren't home, then they could potentially know where everything is in your house, go in, and then commit burglary. But that's why it was called the burglar malware. So that one, kind of scary, on the scarier side of things. So how do we protect ourselves from malware on smartphones and mobile devices? Well, number one is definitely don't download from third-party sources, especially untrusted ones or ones that seem, kind of seedy. The App Store and Google Play Store and so on and so forth are there for a reason. Like I said, Google and Apple and their developers, and the same for RIM and Microsoft, they closely monitor all the apps that go onto their stores for safety, and they check them for malware and infection, bugs. So those are definitely the safest way to acquire apps is through the official stores. Stay away from these third-party sources; they can cause nothing but trouble. They do make anti-malware software and other associated software for your device. Feel free to use these. Norton actually has a package for mobile devices that includes anti-malware, antivirus, anti-spam, amongst other things. And there are other free anti-malware packages for your mobile devices, especially for Android devices. As we said earlier, 79% of all malware on mobile devices are targeted at Android. So I would definitely recommend getting anti-malware on your Android devices, but feel free, any operating system, to try out these softwares. I know they could potentially be a resource hog or a battery drain, but it may be worth it to protect you and your personal information. And also, there's other software. The one that comes to mind is the Find My iPhone software, where if your phone would ever become lost or get into the wrong hands, and you'd have to worry about a security breach or malware acquisition, you could remotely lock the phone or remotely wipe the phone. So those are other options to protect yourself from somebody else downloading malware onto your phone or exposing your personal information. The next tip is to secure your device. As we said earlier, I know that Apple iOS has the 4-digit code locking mechanism. Android has the pattern, and the you draw a pattern amongst dots, or the 4-digit code as well. So put one of these on your device, your tablet or your smartphone, whatever it may be. So just to make sure that if your device does get into the wrong hands, or if you ever do lose it, you have that barrier of security for somebody to not put malware on your phone or expose your information. Don't root your Android devices or jailbreak your iOS devices. This can open up the device for different vulnerabilities, and it also allows you to download unapproved applications or programs that can increase the chance of malware infection. So, I know you can do more things. You can change applications, you can change settings you couldn't normally change, you can change layouts, but it does really expose your phone to becoming infected. And most importantly, just use common sense. If you get a funky link sent to you, or you're unsure about a app in one of the app stores, or something just doesn't seem right, just close out. Don't click it. Just use common sense. It's like using any form of PC, laptop, mobile device. If something does not seem right, just use common sense. Get out of there. As far as applications go, read reviews. Other people, if it has a lot of reviews, and reviews are generally positive, you're most likely safe. But people are usually brutally honest in reviews, so feel free to read the reviews. But like I said, just use common sense and keep yourself safe. That is my presentation. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.